Hi, everyone. Welcome back again to another episode. We have a very special guest with us today. We've got Kadir Motiwala here, and Kadir and I go back a long, long time. We've known each other for a very long time. We kind of grew up together, and we lived in the same building, apartment. So we had our childhoods together.
Mhm.
And I am very honored to have Kadir on my show today. So, Kadir, thank you very much for coming on.
My pleasure.
Kadir is venturing out and starting a private school, so private high school, in fact, or private higher education. And the name of the school is Genie Us Coaching Academy. So this segment today will talk about a little bit about what Kadir is doing and how youth education plays a part in his life and my life and in today's society as a whole. So Kadir, I'm going to give you the floor a little bit here and just introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about what you're doing. And
Sure.
Go ahead.
Sure. Thanks, man. And I think I wanna clarify something. I think you pretty much raised me, man. It wasn't we didn't grow up together. You
don't
grew me up
don't
the other way.
we're the same age, remember?
Yeah. You look the same age. You look the same age.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks, man. No, it's an honor to be on your podcast as well. Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Thank you.
And it's a really great initiative. I love it. But yeah, for those who don't know in your audience, my name is Kadir. I graduated with a degree in finance from university. And my most recent job, currently, I'm working as a technology consultant at Accenture. And recently, my partners and I, we decided to venture out and obviously open up a private school. So we're going to be operational in February. So it's called Genius Academy. So it's Genie, like Aladdin hyphen us. So it's like a little play on words with the
Yeah.
genius. And we're trying to obviously, provide higher education to high school students to start off with, but it's not our only goal. Our goal is to obviously offer a lot more than just courses and credits for, high school diploma or the OSSD. We want to, our main motto is kind of like enabling the youth, like empowering them with the right tools to succeed in the future. So, we really look in and hone in on like customized learning plans and their journeys when they join Genius Academy. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Like I'm looking forward to the next year because this year has been really bad because of the
Yeah.
pandemic. But
Yeah. No.
2021, come 2021, hopefully everything will be good. But yeah.
So your goal is to start up in 2021. Tell me a little bit about how you're starting up. So what that means is that, are you a local area specific school? Are you going to have a physical building where you're going to have students come in and kind of do the courses there, or also you're going to have some online part of your courses?
Yeah.
Because as you know, the last year there's been a lot of focus on a lot of online studies and
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about that. Tell me how you're going to start up.
Yeah. So initially, what we're doing right now is we're finalizing the space, obviously. So we're going to be having a physical location. And since we're going to be operational in February, because the curriculum, the semesters go from September to January, February to June, and then July and August for summer.
Right.
So February to June is going to be our first operational semester. So what we're doing is we're going to have a physical location with the parents and children who are comfortable coming in. Obviously, we're going to be following COVID guidelines if it still, is there in lockdown past the, post-vaccine, because that's all coming out now. But
Right.
we're going to be offering online classes as well. So any classes students register in, if they're not coming in person, they can still join via Zoom or whatever platform we're using for the online meetings. And in terms of area demographics, we're focusing on, so it's between, we're not only catering to a specific area, like we're open to all students from across the GTA if they want to come and attend our school. Marketing is going to be obviously that sort of like, range. But at the end of the day, we're looking around Vaughan, Richmond Hill, Stouffville, Markham. That's the kind of area we're going to be mainly operating out of. And obviously with areas and neighborhoods that have a lot of families and, there are high schools and elementary schools and people who are kind of willing to send their kids for a higher education and, some extra training or additional tutoring services, which we're also going to be having on the side. So that's initially what we're looking to start with.
Okay. Very good. What I wanted to ask you is that, tell me what the difference is between just a regular high school and their courses than your program and what you're offering.
Yeah. So what we're really focusing on is the youth as well. Like I mentioned, the youth empowerment, but our teachers, our directors, including myself, we're all recent, well, fairly recent. You can say like, I graduated high school about 8 years ago. So we'll say, in the range of like 26 to 35 years old. And that's kind of like our teachers and our staff and everyone. So what we are trying to do is really connect with the youth on a one-on-one basis. And, for example, like at high school, you have guidance counselors, and all these public high schools, they have about, it depends, like anywhere ranges from like 600 to 1,000 students, right, per
Yeah.
grade, or even the entire school. But how much can one guidance counselor cater to like 50
Yeah.
students or 100 students per, assignee? So what we're really doing is, in the small size class sizes we have, there's a lot of room for one-on-one relationship. And because we're all, we'll get to the whole, certified teacher, because we're all experts in that area as well, the course that we're teaching. Aside from that, we're going to be offering like life mentorship and coaching, and then financial literacy, which is new to the Ontario curriculum, where it's going to be coming. So it's not all about just the courses like the high schools focus on. It's more than that. Like you want the kids to come to our Genius Academy, right?
So more like one-on-one focused learning, right? And kind of coaching them onto career paths,
Yeah,
because
customized.
you're more higher education. So you're like high school higher education,
Yeah.
which is grade 11, 12 kind of thing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
at that time, students are looking into their options into college and universities,
Yeah.
and possibly career paths along that route, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's a pretty important time for
Yeah.
high school students at that time. And you graduated 8 years ago. I graduated like 16 years ago.
Off my break.
So
Yes, I love it.
from what I remember, high school being like a kind of just a place where you have to do what you have to do
Right.
in order for you to graduate. And I wished, I wished there was more focus on financial literacy, like you mentioned, and
Mm-hmm.
career focused development and career focused guidance through the high school. Like, and you mentioned exactly what it is, and it's probably still the same thing. You've
Yeah.
got one guidance counselor per 600 to
Yeah.
a thousand
Lots of students.
kids.
Yeah.
you know you can't even get personal with that many kids,
Yeah.
like in
Exactly.
terms of like really getting to know your student, and what they want to do and where they want to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that. I get exactly what you're saying. So you're saying, like you have personalized and one-on-one, motivational speakers or coaches kind of go through, their career path, and guide them into where they want to go. So that's very good. Excellent. Um, Kadir, tell me why you started what you started, and what made you start a school per se. Like,
So the goal was really to, so we've been teaching like amongst the three of our partners, myself, I was a TA in university. Two of my other partners, they've been teaching or tutoring since like maybe high school themselves, because they're
right.
really good at the subject. So we see education as like it's always going to be in demand, right? And we don't want to be the same as all the other private schools and all the other high schools out there, where they're just kind of focused on, okay, just teaching, get your head in the books, and then get out, right? And the students also expect that, so they're not really engaged in the learning. So what we're trying to do here is provide a place. It's like an educational platform more so, so they can actually enjoy the learning. And it's a different type of learning, right? Like even for our teachers, we're going to teach them how to teach the students, so they're staying engaged, right? And a lot of high schools get boring. Like when I remember my time, like I really never paid attention in class, right? Like I got by in high school, but like man, like it was super boring, super boring. And like we're just relating to all the students. And what we see education as is, like, at the end of the day, it's a very noble act, right? And we really want to service the community in that sense, because we're all really passionate about building the youth, and
Yeah.
servicing the youth. And like I personally, like I'm on like 3 youth executive committees, like a youth director for like a board at it's like a community center in Scarborough, and then working with the masjid as well. So there's a lot of like workshops and financial, like I mentioned, the financial literacy, of course, but then summer camps, extra tools workshops that we're going to be offering them, so just they can all stay engaged and kind of think about something outside than just the high school courses that they're going to be getting, right? So
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I know you guys have been part of the community your dad has been part of the community for a long time, like, and it's great to see that in you as well. Like, you take leadership seriously.
Yeah.
You take these kind of things seriously. So I'm very, very proud of that. And it's amazing to
Thanks, man.
see. No,
Appreciate it.
it is definitely. You touched upon a little bit about, the experiences that you guys have. And tell me a little bit about what kind of, teachers that you're going to be getting on, to your school, like what kind of experiences that you're looking for. What are you looking for in a teacher? Like what's important?
Yeah, so when we're hiring our teachers, we obviously want to uphold like specific standards. So a lot of teachers who have the certifications, and for those who don't know, there's the main ones are usually the ECE and then the OCT. So the ECE is Early Childhood Education, and then the OCT is Ontario Certified Teacher. So the teachers we're hiring for the courses that we're offering are usually all OCTs. So we look for an accreditation, and if they don't have that, they usually have a master's degree or a PhD in that specific area. So two of our teachers have a master's in their respective disciplines. One of them is an OCT, and the other one, including our directors, it's like 10 plus years of teaching at a private school or at a tutoring service. So
Okay.
we really look for like very quality teaching experience, and also like a level of excellence and the professionalism that they can uphold. But at the same time, they're all youth, right? And like I said, we want to keep it in that age range as well, so they're able to connect with today's youth and what's going on. Like sometimes, and I feel like humor is one of the really the best ways to kind of connect with the youth,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
Because when, for example, if I'm teaching and I'll just randomly pop on my phone and be like, hey, let's make a TikTok, and then like
Yeah.
everyone's be like, oh yeah, let's make a TikTok. Well, that's crazy nowadays, but
It's a different
things
way.
like that.
Yeah. Like it's a
Different
different
way.
way of teaching. Like it's, and I like that.
Yeah.
It's relatable, right? So you have to be relatable as a teacher to the students. I remember teachers who were just old and I mean, no offense, but like, you couldn't really relate to teachers like that. They teach from experience, like trade experience and all work experience and all that kind of stuff. Which is important as well. I get that. But at the same time, students nowadays, that's a good question, because I want to ask you, do you think that today's youth need this kind of learning, or do you think that they're okay where they are? Like, do you think today's youth kind of need that relatable one-on-one kind of learning nowadays?
You know what? I think it's very important actually, because like I also have like younger siblings. My cousins and friends, they all have younger siblings, and we're seeing the environment that they're growing up in now. And it's a lot of people say, like, I personally believe, this is my personal opinion, but there's so much information and the ease of like accessibility to the internet for these kids, especially
Yeah.
on their phones and screens. Like I got my first phone in grade 12, right? And this was like, okay, that makes sense. Like I'm going to university, okay, I get it. But like, man, my younger sister got her first phone in like grade 8, like grade 9. This is ridiculous. What are you
Yeah.
gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So because
Yeah.
of all that distraction around them, and like what the society is like bringing to their heads, and like there's a lot of pressures and stuff because of all this. Like I feel like it's really really important for them to kind of get out there and like put that phones away and then engage in some sort of like activity or like some quality learning that they'll actually enjoy, and they want to be able to kind of disconnect from the social media and be excited to like come and learn in this type of environment. It's not saying that like, okay, we're going to ban social media while you're like in the school or something. We might even use it to our advantage, in
Yeah.
terms of the learning
Yeah.
and stuff. So there needs to be a balance between all that.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I love, and I've seen youth and kids who use social media for educational purposes, right? And it's not just about making the TikToks of your dancing and all that kind of stuff, but there's a lot of educational content out there on social media. So it just depends on the way you've channeled yourself and what you follow, right? I follow a lot of educational content on all kinds of different social media, so
Yeah.
that's very important, to be so having youth mentors and teachers that you would have will be at least connected in that space, right? So they'll know, what kids are doing nowadays and all that kind of stuff, right? So that's
Yeah,
that's great.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
Um, so that being said, I really think it's a great initiative, right? Like I love what you're doing. My kids as well go to private school right now, so I understand the private space in education. And that doesn't mean that I'm downplaying any public system, any public educational system. It just means that, like, the private space is there for youth to excel in, a little bit more than, public system. Like, there's just a little bit more focus there
Yeah, for
on
sure.
students, and stuff like that. So, one of the main things that I'm pretty sure that people will talk about and ask you are, like, financially, what are the fees going to be like? What is that going to look like? What are you charging, per student, per course, whatever it is? Tell me about that.
Yeah, no, no, for sure. And I think that's a fair concern. Obviously, like you're sending your kids to a private school
Yeah.
and you're paying for something, right? And to
Yeah.
be honest, like let's be real here. Like I'm just going to be very transparent. Like in this industry or like the private school, like a lot of kids just go there and buy their grades. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, okay, you need a credit to get into university, and it's not a rumor. It's definitely out there. You know, I've heard personal stories. But in terms of what you're paying for, right? Like what you're getting from us. So let's, aside from that, let's do the average. Like in this area, like it depends on also where you live. If you're like in Scarborough, if you're like in the West End, East End, right? But the area we're operating in, the average prices usually go from like 1,100 to 1,300 per course, and it's not uncommon to see that. But personally, our prices, we're going to be doing around 1,000 to 1,200 per course, or even 900 to 1,100 per course. And we're kind of deciding the range as we go along before we're operational in February. But we also have like, a referral program where a student comes in and registers for the course. And if you refer another friend, then you get 10% off your course. And that goes up to like five. So if you refer five friends, you get 50% off your course. So we're offering a lot of these incentives that are kind of like flexible, especially for the parents, right?
So, because you're not a religious private school, or anything like that, do you think that you would get any support from municipal governments or even federal governments in terms of, grants and scholarships and educational assistance to, let's say, the families or students who simply, and I'll be honest with you, can't afford your course, right? So, what about that? Like, what do you
Yeah.
say about?
So in terms of the business, like there's a lot of like incubators, and there's so much money out there, right? Especially from the governments, and there's a lot of like I'd say like business hubs that you can apply for grants to. So we've actually submitted our application for a couple of them, so we get like subsidies for like starting a new business or like small business. But
Right.
in terms of funding from the government and support for like this education industry,
Yeah.
it's a little hard to say because there are so many private schools in the GTA, and if all the private schools start asking for these grants, and especially most of the government funding is already going to the existing public schools that
Yeah.
are like
Yeah.
offering those OSSD diplomas and credits and stuff. So honestly, like it will be hard to get that sort of support, but it's not to say that different sources of those support are not out there, because if it's not directly from the government, it's from organizations that are funded by the government. So it's kind of like just funneling down. So there's the grants, the money, the funding is all there, and if we do get that, then we're able to kind of support the families out there who are, per se, not like able to afford these prices, and
Yeah.
slash the
Yeah.
prices if anything, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good. And it's good to know that at least you'll have that in mind, and maybe you can look, help families that are not fortunate enough to afford such higher education and learning, and maybe, through the grants and other programs, they can, at least, come and secure that course.
Yeah.
Um, Tell me, anything else that I should know, about anything that you want to talk about in terms of, your school?
Yeah. So like, like in over time, like initially we're going to be doing, of course, the regular courses. So it's going to be math, science, and English, and that's what we're going to be focusing on. But of
Okay.
course, like we're open to all the courses. It depends on the demand of the students and what they're coming in for. So the next step for us is obviously a big one is French immersion, and a lot of students have been asking about this because either they're coming from abroad, or they're wanting to take a French credit because they want to pursue that in the future, kind of thing, right? So
Right.
aside from the courses, though, we're looking to I'm going to expand a little bit on the financial literacy, because this been talked about a long time now, and they're trying to introduce it to the Ontario curriculum.
Yeah.
So what we're going to be doing is personally, I might take this on. Like I graduated in finance. I worked in the field. So, you know, me personally, and along with my partners, we're going to be making financial literacy videos and posting them online to our website or social media
Okay.
and catering that towards, you know, the youth and how you can actually start saving from like an early age. And because this is really, really important to know.
Yeah.
And I feel like I personally learned about this a little too late. And I wish I had someone telling me this in like grade 11 and 12 when I like
Yeah.
every $10 I got, I blew it, you know, on like
Yeah.
a
I
hockey ball
agree.
or a hockey
Yeah.
stick, right?
Yeah.
So that financial literacy is a really, really big thing for us. And then going forward, you know, we're going to be doing a lot of like giveaways and polls on our Instagram page to keep it engaging for the students as well, and doing like raffle prizes, like giveaway for like student of the week, student of the month. And in the summer, we want to introduce workshops. So like whether it may be like key skills for like Microsoft Office or PowerPoint, Excel workshops, or it could be, you know, like a camp for like a week where they can come hang out. There's a person who, you know, does like storytelling or like a
Yeah.
scavenger hunt or something like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So these are like really different types of things that we're focusing on. One other key thing is for our teachers, like if the parents are concerned about, you know, the experience or the educational background of our teachers and how they will teach the students specifically. There are motivational speakers we've reached out to as well, and who are certified in doing this for like a number of years, and talking to youth specifically about, you know, how to succeed in their respective fields, how to teach, how to communicate, right? And this specific individual is going to be coming in and teaching our teachers how to teach specifically, because not
Yeah.
everyone, like, yes, they have PhDs or masters and people are like really, really smart, but people
Yeah.
lack communication skills, right? And
Yeah.
they can't really present to an audience and
Yeah.
stuff. So we
Yeah.
really want like the best quality sort of education for all the children that are coming.
No, and it's good to know that you're focused not only on the students but also on the teachers who are teaching the students. So
100%.
that's amazing to know that too.
Mm-hmm.
And I will definitely link all your information in the video so people can find you and search for you. I hope you know grow into
Thank
you
you.
know this amazing school that we can send all our kids to. So
Inshallah, man. I know your kids coming out pretty soon, eh?
yeah,
I'm counting on you.
that
All four of them, eh?
inshallah, yeah,
So
yeah,
far.
yeah, yeah. No, no, definitely for sure. So I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate
No,
what you're doing. This is a very important topic, and I think you know we should talk about this again
for sure.
as when you open. You know, we can discuss
Mhm,
the things that you know is going to go on and kind of
mhm.
changing and all that kind of stuff. So I'd love to connect with you again.
For sure, for sure. I was banking
And
on it.
yeah, no, for sure we will. You starting in February, you said, right?
February 1st is going to be our first operational day, inshallah.
Perfect, perfect.
Yeah,
So I will link that information as well, like
that's,
your location and all that kind of stuff, so people can
yeah,
get in touch with you.
yep.
I appreciate you coming
No,
on,
thank you.
talking about this. We will definitely do this again.
Yeah, man, for sure. Anything else you need, you know, like any
Yes,
other topics you're touching on, anything to do with
absolutely.
youth, I'm down for it. So just let me know.
Absolutely. There's a lot of topics about youth that we can talk about,
It's
right?
amazing, man. It's amazing.
You know, and one of my goals and focus is also on youth development and
Yeah.
coaching youth. So,
Hmm.
that's why I love this, this
Yeah,
that you did. So we will definitely,
yeah,
talk about,
for
more
sure.
stuff again.
Yeah, I forgot to mention just on that note too, like the youth development and coaching and mentorship. Like a lot of kids usually do like a Shazam or co-op programs in high school. So we're actually partnering with like small, you know, voluntary organizations, or we're planning to meet with businesses
Okay.
who we can actually advertise their job postings through Genius Academy. Or if not co-ops, then we can give them voluntary experiences and opportunities so they can fill out their, you know, 40 hours mandatory hours for the high school and
Right.
stuff. So
Right.
it's not just about the school, again, not about the courses, but we want to prepare them to kind of go out there in the world and be like, here, connect with this person, this is professional experience in math, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
On a ending note, just
yeah.
something came in my mind. Like, let's say a student wants to come to your academy and not do a course, but
Hmm.
rather wants to get the coaching for, any career development.
Yeah,
Would that be something that you?
100%. Yeah. So this is it's very it's all very customized learning to whatever the
Okay.
student wants from us,
Yeah.
or and if we don't offer it, then we'll do our best to actually prepare a program for that specific
Right.
student, and it's obviously going to be a customized price plan and stuff, right? Too,
Yes.
in
Yes.
terms of financials.
Hmm.
But the one thing I did not mention as well is if they're not coming for the courses and if they just want tutoring help, we're offering tutoring services as well.
Okay,
So we have
good.
certified teachers that teach the
Yes,
courses for the
yes.
credits. But if they have like, oh, data management, but we don't
Just
offer that,
extra
or
help or whatever. Yeah,
extra help, and it's
yeah,
just going to be on an hourly basis, just like
yeah.
any other regular tutors, right? And
Right,
we're going to
right,
be
right.
offering that as well. So just
Amazing,
putting it out there. Yeah.
amazing.
Cool.
Again, amazing. Thank you very much, Kadir. I appreciate it, man. I hope to see you
Appreciate it.
soon, and stay safe, stay
Yeah. Yeah.
well. Stay
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah.
Talk again.
Keep us in your prayers, man. Take
I
care.
will.